We're back with another episode of the Meaningful People podcast, and this time we sat down with the Rosh Yeshiva of Yeshiva Darkei Torah, R Yaakov Bender.
Speak about positive things. I have an opportunity to say this publicly.
Our children are suffering more than ever with anxiety and different disorders.
COVID opened up phones to everybody who didn't have phones. Ban everything, you have a problem. You're sending your kid off the derech. Get close to your children out there. Don't waste your time. Get off those WhatsApp. Any parent that allows their child to have fun on the planet, the parents should admit themselves to a mental institution.
Asifa against the internet,
you don't think that Asifa woke people up to the dangers?
I think that the needle has moved far beyond. A big topic around Shabbos tables in Colel Yisrael is the cost of tuition. Jewish education is almost unimaginable. A chasana that someone can spend $400,000, $500,000 on, or
you know that it's wrong. Why are we talking?
Is there like any regrets the Rosh Yeshiva has had? Before we get to the details of this episode, I want to get to know you better. Who are the people watching this episode? How old are you? What age group are we reaching? Go ahead, introduce yourself below in the comments. Hey, I am 19 years old and I'm watching this episode from blank. We will pick a winner for $250 cash, $250 cash sent directly to one of you. Introduce yourself down below in the comments. How old are you? Are you 75 years old and you're listening to this podcast? Are you 17 years old? We want to know. It helps us cater to you with the content. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Meaningful People podcast. Boy, is this a good one. Rapid fire Q&A with R Yaakov Bender, one of the most incredible mechanechim of our time. We covered so many different topics, and I made sure to ask the questions that you, the members of the Meaningful Minute Plus audience, asked. Yes, you part of that group. You know who you are. Thank you. If you want to join Meaningful Minute Plus, hit the link below in the show notes. But this was quite an episode. I want to give a big thank you to my friend Isaac Newman for sponsoring this episode of the Keren Hashana. Of course, this episode is sponsored by Colel Chabad. You know, I got off the phone with somebody this week and they told me, you know what? You get a lot of calls about guest suggestions and people you had on your podcast, but I want to tell you something. I downloaded the Colel Chabad app. I give $5 before every single business meeting I have. And I'm like, that blew me away. And I do it myself. Before every podcast, before every big meeting, $1, $2, $3. Pushka.cc/meaningful. That is pushka.cc/meaningful. Download the Colel Chabad app today, and you have a Pushka in your pocket. You're supporting Colel Chabad, which is feeding tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of needy people in Eretz Yisrael every single day. So go ahead, head to pushka.cc/meaningful.
Toveedo, Toveedo, Toveedo. Walk down Mitzvah Boulevard, climb that mitzvah tree, dance with rabbits and tap, Asian MS, solve the mystery, Bella Bracha and the Shpai mitzvahs we love to see, Robin's Nest and all the rest, there's only one place it's gonna be. Toveedo, Toveedo. Come along to Torah Town, dance with YBC. Shmuel Kunda is telling stories. Hey look, it's Rabbi B. From Parsha and Egunim, there's always something new to see. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show at Toveedo. Toveedo, Toveedo.
Yes, more like that when you download Toveedo. Head to Toveedo.com or download their mobile app today. Toveedo.com. That is Toveedo.com. Use promo code MM10 for 10% off your subscription. That is MM10 at Toveedo.com. Your kids will love it. Your family will love it. Maybe your parents will love it. Who knows? Make sure you head to Toveedo.com, subscribe today using promo code MM10. Now enjoy this episode. You are listening to the Meaningful People podcast.
The podcast featuring our nation's most impactful, influential,
and meaningful people. I wanted this to be different, than last time where we interviewed you about your life and your story. I want this to be an opportunity for people to get, hadracha and answer, and we can answer questions.
Try best.
Here.
I can't promise,
Okay. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to be here. And I guess we'll just start right off with a softball question, This is an easy question. No pun intended, but right now, as the day we record this, baseball season, playoffs are here. And a question that was sent in by a parent is, my children love baseball. They love MLB. They're big Yankee fans. They want to watch the games. Do I encourage them not to? Do I try to steer them away from it? Or is it, in fact, a healthy outlet and they should be okay with it and even watch it with them?
Okay, obviously you hear the word depends a lot. So it depends. If you're talking about in Lakewood, where they speak only in Yiddish, those homes and stuff, they have no shachas to baseball. But where kids are raised, where baseball is commonplace, I think you shouldn't stop them. You don't do that b'shum, but I think you should make time limits. Our kids were involved in sports years ago. They like baseball and football. On the radio, we're talking about now. Gave them limits, time limits, because I think that's the key. They shouldn't be busy with it day and night. My father's a Colel, interesting, I want to tell you. My father was from Altamira, Yeshiva in Europe.
Yeah.
My mother was an avid reader of your grandfather's articles. Yiddish, my father, everybody had TVs. I grew up in Williamsburg.
Really?
A lot of people had TVs, really.
Okay.
The bracha was for those people that survived the Holocaust. A lot of them were broken. That was an escape for them a little bit. Okay, but TV then certainly wasn't what TV is today, but much more kosher. But my father allowed us once a week to go next door to Mrs. Wiener, wonderful lady, Morty Melman's grandmother, to watch an hour or an hour and a half. Easy shows, Lassie, Dennis the Menace. I remember the shows now.
Any sports?
Years of Yankasa. And then sports wasn't much on TV. Wasn't much on TV then. We were little kids, really. But there was limits. He gave us once a week. People who are very, very tough on their kids and their homes, they have available TV, these things, then you can't say no. You can't ban everything, but time limits, etc. I don't think you should talk about it. The baseball, years ago in America, that was the only sport, the only thing around.
Right.
I get panic with a lot of very firm parents. I understand their panic. My kid listening to games, running around watching games. Slow down. With cheshbon, make sure a little bit. Don't ban it completely. If you do, you have a big problem.
What type of problem do they have on their hands? Like,
they'll find other ways to go and get other things.
Right.
Technology obviously is that issue. Technology. So you give them 0 phones, you're in trouble. You give them 1 phone. I'm not talking about little kids. I think not necessarily. I think COVID opened up phones to everybody who didn't have phones. Right. The way many yeshivas were teaching through the phones. The kids bought phones. That was a little bit of a problem. But generally speaking, whatever you do, if you ban everything, you have a problem.
Right. Which leads us into our next question. Someone wrote in about this exact thing about phones. They wanted to hold off giving their child a flip phone until the kid turns, until they get their driver's license, which could be 16, 17 years old. There's a lot of pressure now. Everyone in the class, 13, 14 years old, has it.
Hold on. What does everyone mean? You can't say everyone. Doesn't mean everyone.
I remember this from when I was in yeshiva. I remember hearing this by the shmooze.
Is it everyone?
The way the question was written, I'm pushing my kids off until they get their license, yet finding a 13, 14-year-old, they're missing out socially.
If you can hold them off, of course, the better it is. You get married to your phone. Phones destroy parents, destroy fathers and mothers. Come on. You walk out of shul in the morning, what happens? In a shul where you can't look at your phone, or you shouldn't look at the phone, for sure, right?
Yeah.
Everybody stops outside. They look at, what happened? Why are you on your phone? What are you looking at? Mashiach came. You're not coming through the phone. Why are you on your phone? People go outside. They're on 25 WhatsApps and chats.
It's a part of life. Even me
so
being
you
in
have
touch
to be
with
every second. I'd like to talk more about that. Maybe we'll get into more later. But I don't understand what's part of your life. Why is it part of your life? Why is it part of your life when you come home and your phone is on the table, right? And your wife wants to talk to you after waiting a whole day for you and you're busy on your phone.
No, I understand.
Or why you lady, walking down Reed's Lane in our area and pushing your stroller and you can talk to your kid and you're busy talking on the phone and to watch chats. My own little bit statistics tell me average lady is on 25 chats today. What's so important on there? Why is it not necessary? Talk to your kid in Reed's Lane. Schmooze with your child. He's 3 years old, so what? We're addicted. Let's call a spade a spade. We are an addicted society to phones and WhatsApps. I don't have any WhatsApps. I have no chats. I use email very heavily because we have a very large yeshiva. Yeah. I want to answer every single person. But sure, my wife is on a single WhatsApp. In camp, we go on the summit, there's a chat for the parent to know who's getting a ride to New York and so on. Why should I know what's going on in your life? Why?
I mean,
Why?
what do
you mean it's necessary? It's not necessary, Nachi. You know what it is? It's an addiction. We're all addicted.
Fair. I agree. Not that what I say matters at all, but okay, say it is an addiction.
A lot of people listen to you. It matters.
Say it is an addiction. I agree. It is an addiction. It's here. You're not going to be able to cleanse the entire from world. It is very much here.
Agreed.
So what is a parent supposed to do?
So it depends. If he's talking a class where everybody has phones, fine. You get him a phone. Limits. Texting, you should make up with your child that I'm going to check all your texts. Don't delete anything. I want to make sure you're clean and kosher.
Is that the healthy approach?
And then a nice way.
Tell them you're going to read their messages?
No. I want it to be available. You know that I may be able to.
Okay.
When I bought my kids phones finally during COVID, we have triplet grandchildren, one family, let's see, right? They got their first phones when they were in the 11th grade.
When you say it again, you bought
a set of triplets. I didn't. My children bought a set of triplets phones, right?
Yeah.
I told them the same thing. Just know whatever is on there, we may see one day. That's it. They're good boys. You're a good girl. 3 kids. One is married already, Baruch Hashem. Very nice. But kids should know there's got to be a little pachad of something. It's easy. It's much easier to use vulgarities or not nice stories on texts. People won't say it, but they'll text it. You got to know. I give a vad. It's called a vad. It's like a shmuz and shalom bias. I tell the guys about dating, don't text your kala. Because then you're analyzing all day long. What did she mean? What did she write? What did she say? Could text it. It's a whole different world with texting. I said, stay off the texting. You got to talk on the phone, make up where you're going, what time you're meeting up, fine. But if you get involved too heavily into these things, it changes your whole life. It does.
So some people might listen to this and say, oh, it's so funny. They're discussing texting. The advances in technology are far past texting.
Correct.
I ran a panel on a Pesach program this year, and one of the topics was around technology. And I got up to this room of parents and I said, does anybody here know what Twitch is? And,
I don't.
Yeah. And they laughed at me. And I said, do you know what another site is? They laughed at me. I said, in all likelihood, your young kids are going to be on these sites. What do you think the balance is for a parent? Do they need to know everything with what's going on in this generation and understand what is trending? Or do they just hands off?
It changes all the time. Fortnite is a great game, right? Masbia, I never
played it, but
I hear Fortnite is not a good game. It's not a good game.
Because of the communication you could possibly have.
1,000 people on there, Gentiles, people, anybody you want. There's a bad story in a very from neighborhood where a girl made up to meet a Gentile fellow. The girl slipped and told her parents, and when he came to the house, the police picked him up. He was underage.
Wow.
Fortnite, I believe, I say this to the boys in our yeshiva. I'll tell you a great Rabbi Zevi Bald story, the executive director in our yeshiva. This is a true story. 2 years ago when Fortnite came out, I heard what it's all about, and I told them it's not a good idea. I said to the boys in the shmuz, any parent that allows their child to have Fortnite and play on it, the parent should admit themselves to a mental institution. I said it's the 400 kids in the shmuz, right? They started looking at each other, and no one complained to me because no one's going to admit they allowed the kids to have Fortnite, right? They're not going to admit to me. 3 days later, I'm sitting in my office, and Rabbi Zevi Bald comes running into you. He was turning white. He says, Rebbe, did you say that parents who let the kids have Fortnite? I said, I sure did. He got white completely. Obviously, he raises the money. Comes back 3 minutes later, say this person gave another $10,000 to the yeshiva to appreciate what I'm doing. Most parents want help to get these kids off this stuff. It's easy by not showing that you're addicted. It's not easy. If you don't want your parents, what do you want your kid to look like one day? What do you want to look like? You want to look like busy all day long like you are? You don't want that. You want them to learn. You want them to do the right things. Everything was created. Chavetz Chaim once said, when they told him about the radio.
Yahrzeit tonight.
Tonight is the Yahrzeit. Chavetz Chaim once said, he said, a American thing he said that they told him about the radio. You know what's going to be one day on the radio? On this channel, they told what channels are. This shall be a shear on my cotton, and this shall be a shear on Baba Kama, and Ksubis, and it'll be Musa Shmus, and it'll be wonderful. It's not good. The addiction is not good. Then you have a problem. The kids, yeah. So if you go to a yeshiva or you're involved in a community where everybody's on it, you have a problem. We push for it. We have many, many boys now in Masif that have no shaykhs at all to any WhatsApps, any chats, any of these games. We push it very hard in a nice way. Give them a good time. They play a huge amount of ball. It's something good. The chesronos are not only Yiddishkeit-wise. They're bad because of what are you doing to your kids? Put them out there. Let them play ball.
The Rosh Yeshiva doesn't see it as a losing battle, though. Many years ago, we had this asifa against the internet.
You don't think that asifa woke people up to the dangers?
I think that the needle has moved far beyond
And
I think that a lot more. I interviewed recently the people from Guard Your Eyes. I think stuff like that does a lot more for the conversation.
The Guard Your Eyes told me that 1/3 of the people they're dealing with now are female.
Yeah.
That wasn't around years ago. You're talking about a major issues. I'm talking about the family, the yeshiva, the family connection. When I see women walking up and down the street and they're busy on their phones, typing while they're pushing, you got the accidents that happen, the car accidents. So here, people drive up to yeshiva and they're busy on the phones. You're greeting your kid. Chaimel, so nice to have you in the car. Chaimel gets into the car and then the mother's shooting there. She's busy.
Yeah.
We got to change our whole mahus of our family. You hang up the keys, you come into the house, hang up your phone. Don't bring it to the table. Why should a wife have to suffer you busy over there? It's forget it, the Yiddishkeit part. Yes, it's a problem. You got to deal with it. So it depends where you really are, what kind of community you're in, how it's like exactly. Okay, in Muncie alone, the way you live, right?
Yeah.
There's all kinds of neighborhoods in Muncie, right? So it depends where you're really living.
Okay, maybe we'll circle back to technology, but there's a lot of topics I want to cover here. Mm-hmm. Another big question that was sent in, a big topic around Shabbos tables in Klal Yisrael is the cost of tuition. Jewish education is almost unimaginable, and the question really is does R Bender have anything to say about it? Is there a future where that changes, or is this the reality of sacrificing?
There's tremendous work going in on the state level with people who are askanim or involved with the government to try to get private schools to be subsidized, maybe paid for. That's the biggest problem. In states like Ohio and like Florida, it's not much of an issue anymore because they pay a certain amount of money for every single child. New York, every liberal state, the teachers union really controls all these things. The teachers union is very powerful in New York State, powerful in New Jersey, and the hope is that one day it'll happen here. Until then, I don't know the answer. I fundraise day and night, but I don't have a wedding. It's very hard for us also. I'll tell you one thing you shouldn't do. You can't speak about tuition being expensive and how much I spend on you in tuition in front of your kids. You want your kids to go to yeshiva thinking their rabbis are kachei kadashim and their moras are kachei kadashim, and they're not stealing your money from your pocket. If you speak negatively about tuition and yeshiva in front of your children, you're hurting your own children. Until then, I don't know the answer. We all don't know the answer. We try. And our yeshiva, the answer is, okay, I have a shiga, we charge our yeshiva, well, some average $14,000, $15,000, something like that. And Williamsburg, Barbara, they charge less. Then you have the more modern day schools, Manhattan,
let's say upwards of $25,000,
$30,000. The only reason why it's only 13, 14, we're losing money each kid, because we are out fundraising night and day. Is that fair to me? Or to my children, or to the people in the office? It's not fair to us. So the question is a very good question. We need a Yeshua that only come through state intervention down the road. It's going to happen. More and more money, the states are coming in with more and more money. But certainly don't make the kids say, can I take short Torah?
Please.
Ramesh Feinstein used to say, in this week's parasha, needs something, choose life. I gave you mavis, I gave you death, I gave you life. So what do you mean, Ramesh Feinstein used to say, he said by Levi, Rebekah Scheineman was an elderly gentleman at the end of his life that killed in a car accident. Ramesh spoke as Levi. He grew up with his kids in Washington. 9 children all stayed from a miracle. 2 million Jews came from Russia between 1900 and 1920. They disappeared off the map. Why? Because even though these people came, right, and they came with a long proverbial white beard, but then they said, Ramesh said, it's hard to be a Jew. Choose life. A great life is your children should see how wonderful it is. Children shouldn't hear. That's a general din in chinuch. It's a general din of chinuch, not just in the chinuch of tuition and these things. Be positive in front of your kids. Be positive. That has to marriages, husbands and wives, in front of your kids. I wonder, you're coming home from yeshiva. What you do in yeshiva today? Tell me about yeshiva. Not, you're costing me a fortune. I hate this, right?
Right.
That's not the way you raise your kids. Sure, it's a problem. I'm not saying it's
on this topic. I mean, I've had many different people over the years on this podcast talk about the finances in the frum world. One of them recently, Ari Bergman, who is a great boss from the Five Towns area, and we spoke about this issue of just people living way beyond their means. What would the Rosh Yeshiva say on this topic of, I guess, Cancun winter, Pesach in Orlando, Sukkot in...
I mean, you get me going on that. That's terrible.
I shouldn't get you going?
No, you got me going on that.
Okay.
It's terrible. The midwinter vacation, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, you don't have it? Who needs a midwinter vacation? We give 3 days.
I remember growing up, I had an off Shabbos. We
were fine.
We stayed home.
But now everybody else having midwinter vacations, the girls more than the boys, and stam the boys' institutions.
What could be done?
I sent out a letter.
It's not a sustainable future.
It's impossible.
For our
debt
kids.
over it. They're afraid in the schools where it's commonplace. People borrow money for that.
Yeah.
It's a shandar harp. It really is. We used to do Hanukkah vacation, or when we had off one day, we packed all our kids into a car and went to a hotel. All the kids, we brought along, make sandwiches, salami sandwich. We brought along, and then we took them bowling, and we took them to do different things. The kids loved it. On Sunday, they went a late Matzah Shabbat till Sunday and Monday. Many people do that. Kids are fine. Kids are happy with these things. But if they get spoiled, and their friends Cancun and in Bermuda and Puerto Rico and Vail, why? You're spoiling your kids?
Because that's what all the neighbors are doing. I don't know. It's very hard.
So you answer the question. I don't think it's that very hard. I don't think so.
I don't know. I'm not raising kids at that age.
You will, Mr. Shem.
I have 2 girls. They're not that old yet, but
you're a Muncie. You'll get away with it. Muncie. Most of the people probably don't go away, except for the maybe more modern. Modern means no one should feel bad the word modern. Modern means where they're off on Sundays. That's it, right? Our kids go to yeshiva on Sundays. The girls are off. Okay, but the boys that are off on Sunday is more modern, right?
We'll be right back to this episode in just a second. A quick word from my friends at Masbia. Feeding the needy people. You know about Masbia Soup Kitchen. They serve over 2 million meals a year. And this time of year, Yom Tif, is the busiest. They have people coming to them in need. And as a Klal Yisrael, let's be real. We can't let anybody go hungry on our watch. And that is what Masbia has committed themselves to. It's our responsibility to make sure Masbia can continue their holy work, feeding Klal Yisrael. Masbia Soup Kitchen has been around for quite a while, but the problem still exists. We need to feed everybody. Please consider making a donation to Masbia today. There are so many different meaningful sponsorship options. Hit the link in the show notes below. It should be a schus that you should never ever go hungry. Your family should never know of the poverty that so many in this world experience by supporting Masbia. So, yes, we're right before Sukkot, and it's time to get your ovens running, to get the dishwasher running, to get all your appliances going. Maybe there are appliances for your sukkah that you can get that you can only get on townappliance.com. Yes, ain't that something? Townappliance.com. Doing it since 1979, the best appliance store in the entire world, and you can WhatsApp them. What? I could? Yes, you can. Or you can go to townappliance.com. Whichever generation you're part of, Town Appliance got you covered. At townappliance.com, townappliance.com. Whether you're doing a new construction or trying to just replace all your appliances, there's only one location. That is townappliance.com. Beyond even vacations, let's say even stuff that they could be pegged as kaddish. Say a beautiful, lavish kiddush or a chasana that someone can spend $400,000, $500,000 on. Or
you know that it's wrong. You know that it's wrong. Why are we even talking about it?
Because it is. I feel like we do have this epidemic where it is respected. Ultimately, we are.
It's not respected. It's a social pressure. Not respected. Your social pressure. Your social blue. Your people make this fancy schmancy weddings and charge a fortune, not a mitzvah.
But these same people are the ones who are supporting our Masias and our yeshivas.
But the same people that make those weddings complain about tuition. You understand that? Is that priority? The same people. They're going to scream about tuition, really. I'll tell you, it's people will scream at me by giving a day off, then they'll disappear with their kids for 10 days, right? But they're going, come on, it's a stira. You can't spend $500,000 on a wedding or $1 million. What $500,000? Today's $1 million on a wedding.
I guess I'm behind.
Way behind. $1 million on a wedding. And then complain about the tuition. Doesn't work. Tuition is not fashionable. Having a beautiful wedding is fashionable. You know the answer to these, Nachi. Come on. It's not a mitzvah to go spend all that money. Really.
I know, but I guess without mincing anymore, these are respected askanim in our community that they're great and they're doing amazing work for Klal Yisrael. They can be honored by our dinners, but at the same time,
people who give a lot of stock and so on, I sort of forgive them. All right,
is that a free pass?
No, but I feel I can't be upset with them because they spend their money in good places also.
Right.
I'm more upset at people who don't spend their money in good places. Right. There's so many anim and almanas. We have to scrape money to find them. Yeshiva, we have so many things yeshiva we have for them. We give out, we have yeshiva in groups and Zachem. We give out fortunes of money to help the kids out, to help these people. That's where the money should go. What's the answer to that? I don't know the answer. People should get together. You, Nachi, have how many good close friends here in town? I'm making your shul now in this town, right? Where you are. Yeah. Why can't you get together your shul and say, no, kiddush can only have a little kugel and shul. That's it. Why can't you do it? Get together your 10 closest friends and do it. That's what I think people have to do. People can't. Complaining out there is easy. It's easy to kvetch. I get people who call, how come you gave off this weekend? I say, did you call yeshiva to say thank you that we start very early? We started a week early this year. This year we all started early, but normally is. Did you call? I said, if you didn't call to say thank you for those week, don't call me to complain about one day. Complaining is easy. Stop for a minute and think of what yeshiva is doing. Stop for a minute what you're doing with your kids. I tell people, by the way, if a kid, you're a boy, you have 6 girls. In our community, the schools are closed on Sunday for the girls, right? My boy is unhappy. Every Sunday he has to go to shul. I tell him, take a day off. Take the kid and have a day off. You don't be an angry child for learning Torah and yeshiva. It works. It works. Everything is normalcy. Normal. It's not normal to spend $1 million on a wedding when there are people out there starving. Some boys buy out all the time. I scream at buying out all the time. I said, you're buying out.
What's buying out?
Buying out means buying lunch and supper.
Oh, okay.
They order out pizza and whatever comes in over there.
Yeah.
One time a kid bought a fish plate for $41 or something.
Cured fish.
There's a kid next to you. This kid's understand it. There's a kid next to you that can't afford a can of soda from the machine. What do you think he thinks like when you go out there and you buy lunch every day? Now she was not say our cook, Mrs. Florence. She's top of the line. She's really a great cook, but they still buy out. I tell them, not mitzad why you shouldn't spend money. Feel bad for the guy who doesn't have. When you're making a fancy wedding and some people are scraping to make a takana wedding, whatever it is, it's hurting people. In yeshiva, I teach the kids, listen.
Yeah.
Kids want to be good.
I think
October Civil War, we did. I told the kids, just cut out something. They heard it. 3 snacks a day, take 2 snacks a day. No candy, sleep with 1 pillow. Do something.
Yeah.
We have to feel bad for the people who don't have. That's one major good reason. We could teach midos every second of every day in yeshivas and at home. We could teach midos. Midos takes very long to develop midos in children. If you don't do these fancy things, all right, I'm talking too much. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, this is why we're here. I agree with what you're saying, and I just wanted to take it a little step further. What can we do as a community? Right, Bender, you have the largest yeshiva probably in the frum world, and especially in the 5 towns, the community respects and looks up to you. What is stopping us from as a community, as a frum community, putting some gedarim in place? Say the way things are going, it's not sustainable. I speak to Matis Gilbert from RSK. People are in millions of dollars of credit card debt, and they're living the high life, and they're still driving the fancy cars and making the big weddings, and they don't have the money. They don't have it. And everyone thinks that there's this life that you have to live, and it's not being lived.
The only way.
What is the cure? What is the
grassroots? I talk about it all the time. One thing's very interesting. I don't think the mitzvahs in our yeshiva have tapered down dramatically in the last 10 years. You see, it's possible. There are some who used to be hotel mitzvahs every weekend. I'm not, again, those who do it. I'm not here. I believe in live and let live. I don't believe in dafka coming down hard on everybody for everything.
Right. No, it's not it's not a box.
I understand that. But you got to explain to me why you need a fancy mitzvah. So lately with us, it's kamat no sit down mitzvahs during the week. It's a shmog. You come into a shmog, there's a couple of speeches, and they dance afterwards. It's really dramatically reduced. It happened. Things happen over a period of time. The best way it could happen is having a group of people together saying, we're going to do A, B, and C. And that's the grassroots is the way it has to work. I try not to give rules. I don't like banning things. I don't like that. I think don't be tough. I don't like it. I think it's not healthy for kids. Be nice. 24/6.
Yeah, I love it.
Isn't it great?
What's wrong with it? Chaim Weiss, the best.
What's wrong with Chaim Weiss?
I will say he got a lot of flack. He was dragged through the mud.
Not from me.
I'm
very happy. 24/6.
But a guy like that who put himself out there to do something good for the klal, even he got spears thrown at him.
You're always going to have people like that. They wanted to ban it. I got involved in speaking to the big Rosh Yeshiva were involved. They shouldn't ban it, and they didn't ban it. There are people who ban everything. They like banning everything. Banning everything, you're sending your kid off the derech. You want to put pressure on kids, you'll know what off the derech is. I'm not saying it's declared. I'm not wishing it on you, chas v'shalom. Don't ban it. 24/6 is Jewish music. So they say some Jewish music comes from Goyish music, right? So don't go to weddings. Some people on weddings are mocked, but they have only old Jewish songs. It may also be coming from Jewish.
Right.
But 24/6, I think it's a bracha. It's a tremendous thing. A certain Rosh Yeshiva gave me a hard time about it, right? I spoke to a wonderful person. Most of the Rosh Yeshivas, by the way, are really wonderful. They worry about these things. They talk about these things. They want to do things about these things. Some whole banning is a good thing. I'm not saying. So I spoke to Rosh Yeshiva who told me, I didn't know what Spotify was. Probably I didn't know what Apple Music was. You know how many Bachrim in your yeshiva are getting their music from Spotify and from Apple Music, which means going on to Goyish thing? He didn't believe me until he went and checked. 40%. I think 40% is a consistent number.
That sounds like a low number also.
Sounds low. From Spotify, but now you don't need it. Yeah, 24/6 Chaim Weiss did the job together. He has his main guy is, what's his name? Werdiger.
Yeah.
Two of them are wonderful. They worked very hard. They did it.
And they've invested millions of dollars into this product. So
I think they really L'Shem Shamayim. They really were,
Yeah.
and they weren't misguided. They were there. They did the right thing, and I felt I endorsed them. You know, I didn't expect anything to be up in lights all over the world about it, but I feel that it's the right thing. It's the right thing.
you alluded to something which brings us to the next question that was sent in, which is what would the Rosh Yeshiva say is the contributing factor to children, boys, girls, struggling with their Yiddishkeit today, heading to a different path? What is there
really is no rhyme or reason. Some people, everybody, whoever was an ask in a certain field, they think they have the answer. I have the answer. There's no rhyme or reason. It happens. I think the most important thing is, as I said, staying close to your kids. Give them time. The phone is a major obstacle against time. Take all that time. I spoke to a young lady recently. I said, "What are you doing? There's no mother or father at home." I could talk about this topic forever, but it's true. Give your kids time, and then you'll schmeck what's bothering them. You won't have the problem. Don't pressure them. Don't ban everything. Don't make them crazy. Absolutely. They're normal human beings. You have a bad day too. So they have a bad day. They don't go to yeshiva that day. I had a mother and a father that was so nice. My father, a little bit tougher, he's a father, but not tough. My mother, who raised us to a large degree, my mother never gave us a patch. This is the time when everybody gave patch. Today, they lock you up for that, but my mother never raised a voice. I remember my mother, Shalom, my best friend, my mother. I don't remember her ever raising a voice. She would say, "Yankel, I'm disappointed in you." She'd say maybe 10 times a day, "Yankel, I'm disappointed in you," but never mean or angry at us. She understood us as kids. I was a big ball player. One of my brothers, Michael, was a tzaddik and never played ball. When he was young, he did. He grew up normal in our house. He played chess and checkers, and we went out to play stickball on the street. He was the best swimmer, my brother Michael of Shalom. He's a tzaddik Yisrael.
Different sports. Whatever
it was. I liked baseball. I liked football. Okay, whatever it was. Everybody did their own thing, but we didn't hear no. Get close to your children out there. Don't waste your time. Get off those WhatsApps. Get off those things that they're Narishkeiten. I know. I ask people to men, get your phone. I want to show you. I want to read your chats. So first of all, you can't read them because sometimes they're vulgar.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two is you can't read them because it's embarrassing to them. This is what you're talking about. This is what you're chatting about. What are you walking out of shul yesterday in the morning and looking at your phone for? What did you miss out on? You can't even write emails. I ask people to send me certain emails. They can't. It's on a WhatsApp. They got to figure out how to do it. What's wrong? I use email very heavily because I want to answer every single parent yeshiva that day. And I do. I try. And because the principals do it. But why? Give them time. Be nice to your kids. Take them places. You can't have time if you're busy with your phone. I don't sound like a broken record, but I'm telling you, that's the problem.
The role of the home versus the yeshiva, I think sometimes that can get a little blurry. What is the role of the home? What is the role of the yeshiva?
Well, generally,
the Rebbeim and the parents.
Generally, the role of the home is to support the yeshiva, but it doesn't mean if a Rebbe or a teacher does something that is not perfect that you can't tell your kid, "I don't understand this." You could. Kids are normal. We're all normal. We make mistakes. Rav Ruderman in Baltimore used to say, "We don't believe in papal infallibility. People make mistakes. School should try to work with the home." And I'm telling you something, parents are great. Many issues say parents are crazy. No. The 85 to 90% are on the money. The problem is sometimes they want something. Their kid is different. So their kid needs something else. I once had a parent who was screaming that the 6th grade Rebbe is learning too fast. I'm saying too slow. Mom is carrying on. 2 years later, he came to complain he's learning much too fast. The kid 2 years ago was very bright. This year was slow. He couldn't handle the work. So they're talking about their own kid. A yeshiva cannot, and the 25 kids in a classroom cannot accommodate every single parent, but we try. I find getting along with parents, I think we get along with 95% of our parents all the time, and the other 5 sometimes not. School shouldn't look as parents as the opposition. Some school, I warn the principals, never say, if you don't like it, find another school. You'll never hear it in Dachei Torah. Parents are right to ask questions respectfully and so on. But you get along. If there's really a problem, you have to take care of it at that time. But they should try to get along. And then our parents are wonderful. They want what's best for their own child. So you got to explain to them. Sometimes it can't work.
Yeah. A difficult question to ask. If you don't want us to air this, I'm more than happy not to, because I don't want to put the Rashiv on the spot at all. I had Rabbi Wally Jacobson sit down here not too long ago as well, and he was very vulnerable about the challenges he had when he was younger, with anxiety and stuff like that. And it helped a lot of people. helped a lot of people who are struggling through the same things. Rabbi Bender, you are a master in chinuch, and through your you had to do that, like through the decades in which you were in chinuch. There's no mechanech that's perfect. Is there like any regrets that the Rosh Yeshiva has had?
Maybe I didn't try hard enough with certain kids. We don't throw out kids in Derech Torah. Don't tell the kids. We don't throw out kids in Derech Torah ever. 3 times I had to send the kid, but I found them in another yeshiva. I'm now dealing with a certain school somewhere that threw out a 12th grader for what I don't think is terrible averis. So the principal told me over there in that school, not far Rockaway, but that school, listen, we don't make easy decisions. I think throwing out a 12th grader is committing murder, right?
Throwing out a
12th grader says she can't, or he or she can't graduate. It's terrible. So I think we all have some regrets that we make by mistake.
Nobody's perfect.
I got a phone call once. I was head counselor many moons ago, and the kid stole, and we caught the kid who stole. We didn't embarrass him publicly. This kid called me 30 years later. Remember the wallet? I really didn't remember. I didn't steal it. He obviously psychologically had it in his head. I want you to say to me, I'm asking you from a chila that I accused you of stealing the wallet. I think he did it, but let's leave that on for a minute. I did it. Obviously the kid was troubled. We have therapy. We have therapy that should be used. He started saying something about days were different. Why was saying years ago we didn't have what we have today. It's available to us. Some people have phobias. There's all kinds of issues. Take care of it. I'm not saying all psychologists are great, all social workers are great, but we certainly can take care of things. Do I have regrets? For sure. Looking back, why didn't I do enough for this and this kid? I can't say I have regrets that I ever did anything really bad to a kid.
Right.
Because I try not to. And we really try to be positive. People, some lady, here, not such a well lady, put me on what's it called over there? What are the things? Instagram. That she put me on that I must be a sick person because I kiss all the kids that come to yeshiva on the first day of yeshiva. First of all, I want you to know I kiss every kid on his yarmulke. So
we posted that on I've been in touch with Moshe Ben Olil. We posted that on Meaningful Minutes social media, and we had 500,000 views on that video.
I'm telling you,
most of the people are like, this is beautiful.
I love, what it is, when I went to yeshiva as a kid, I didn't like yeshiva. I remember looking for a thermometer.
This is post-Holocaust probably, right?
Post-Holocaust. We had a lot of Rebbeim Nebuch who were Holocaust survivors. And there was one Rebbe in yeshiva then who, the Baruch Haba in the classroom was, every kid line up and put his hand on the desk, and he gave him a zetz with a rule. And if you don't behave, it'll be worse. Today, they come running into yeshiva. We have music blaring. They come running, looking for front desk. Kids should love yeshiva. I remember we kids, there's only one way of taking your temperature years ago. A thermometer, we'll leave it at that. You put the thermometer on the radiator. I remember putting it on the radiator, getting it up to 102.5. Mom, I'm sick. And my mother would say, yeah, she trusted me. It was her mistake, but she trusted me. We don't want to yeshiva. Today's kids run to yeshiva. There's exceptions. They come running in. Kids should love yeshiva. That's what I want. And kids love yeshiva today. They really do. When they come in, after a whole summer, give them a kush on the kapula, and they're happy about it. This sick person.
What would you say? Yeah, what would you say to someone who comments something like that, which obviously is
I see they're getting carried away. I had the schus of shutting down the biggest molester that ever was in the Jewish community. I shut him down. I found him when other people knew about it and didn't do anything about it. So I watch for it in yeshiva. Every single door in our yeshiva has a window. 440 doors. How do I know that? Because mezuzahs. And every single door has a window because we want to be careful. The Rebbeim today want videos in their rooms. Yes, they didn't want to. Why? They're afraid of somebody accuse them. So I worry about this topic. There could be when you're a boys-only yeshiva and men are working there. Baruch Hashem, it's been quiet, but thank God. Baruch Hashem, but got to watch out for it. But to say, they can't give him a kiss on the yarmulke, come on. The lady must have been molested once. Something must have happened to her. I imagine so. I
not to compare, but I've come out in support of a lot of different
the Rolls Royce
people. And I've had things. It's really.
And that Rolls Royce, most people understood what I did. The kid had cancer, whatever it was. Okay.
I know And I came out with the full story. And
It's sad. People have they have their angle, and everything has to be because that. Nebuch, it's Rahmanis and this lady. I don't know who she is. I would say hello if I met her. Nebuch.
Yeah.
Forget about Lashon Hara, forget about Rechilas, making up a story about me. That's okay.
It's very easy to forget to give tzedakah every single day. And that's why Keren Hashana has made it their business to follow the words of the Lubavitch Rebbe. 71 years ago, the Lubavitch Rebbe enacted this daily giving, this ability to every single day give tzedakah. and it's been followed ever since. That no Yid should go a day without giving, not anywhere in this world. The Rebbe launched a special fund that would guarantee that, and it is called Keren Hashana. Not a day goes by where you won't be giving tzedakah. It isn't really important how much you give. The important part is that you're giving every day. Like Rabbi Stefanski says, it's not about the daf, it's about the yomi. You give every single day, and the money that you're giving to Keren Hashana is going to support shluchim and their activities all around the world that we all benefit from. And the Rebbe famously said that if you support Keren Hashana, you benefit from all the activities that are happening because of your donation. So today, go to the show notes, the description of this episode, hit that link, and become a giver of Keren Hashana. I just want to say a big shout out to the baseball team, the podcasters. It was an honor, meaningful people, and the None of Your Business podcast got together. Ushi Schwartz, Mr. Greenfield over there, and we had a baseball team, and we won the championship. I want to give a big shout out to all of our teammates that got it done. I couldn't go by this episode without saying it. It's just been an absolute beautiful opportunity to play on the same team as you guys, the podcasters, and we brought home the championship for all of our listeners. Thank you so much. A big shout out to Midfluencer Mendy for all the support, and the Infield Fly Rule, to Ben. Now, enjoy the rest of this episode. We alluded to a little bit, we touched upon mental health and how the world is changed. I think maybe even post-COVID, our children are suffering more than ever with anxiety and different disorders. Sure.
We haven't heard the list yet of COVID. We haven't heard the list yet. Yeah.
Right. We're still dealing with the effects.
Correct.
There are kids who are extremely anxious. I guess to the parent or the individual who's dealing with that, from the chinuch perspective, what would you say?
I think you have to work with them. I think don't bury it under the carpet. You see something happening with your kid, try to get some help properly for the child. I mean, it used to be years ago, you went to a psychiatrist, you were crazy, you know something's wrong. For shidduch, not true. Today, many kids see, we have in the building therapists coming in to help out the kids. We have very good programs that it doesn't cost the parents any money. Children have a lot of anxiety. A lot of it they pick up from the homes. There is a lot of shalom bias issues. Not much more than years ago, by the way. People are nervous. They're very worried about a lot of shalom bias. Some guys are afraid to date now. At our yeshiva, which is, I think, a broad spectrum of children in the yeshiva, right to left, 1,600 families behind her, same 3 to 4% that have shalom. But shalom bias issues in front of kids makes them very anxious. Kids worry. I think it's a tremendous statistic I heard from a camp person. It's unbelievable. Many, 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 many children from these homes come to camp.
Yeah.
They're the most homesick. Fascinating. And a head counselor told me this. What's the most homesick? They're worried what's happening with their parents while they're here. They're fighting around. It's an amazing thing. So I think that causes a lot of anxiety.
Yeah, I think the destruction of the Jewish home is one also that's worth discussing. The divorce rates are out of control. Even in the world at large, but the divorce in the firm world,
but
it is out of hand.
There's a lot of anxiety which is genetic.
Okay.
It's genetic. No question that at one end of our parents' family, there was a lot of anxiety. It's genetic, and you have to try to work with it. You know, sometimes the medication is called for. Most of the time, medication is not called for, but if it's the other medication, why not use it? That's what I think. But you got to work with kids. The kids are anxious today. They really are. Much more anxiety today. I'm saying everyone's anxious, you know. People don't care about anything, some kids. They don't care about nothing, which is wonderful.
I'm not sure what's worse.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
The young Kala or the young Chassan that is either engaged, just got married, and they're finding it a little bit rocky. It's not what they thought it would be.
Not enough was done before the wedding. I believe you have to sit with, is the Kala teacher. There's the Kala teacher that does more intimate things, speaks about those things, and there's also the mother. And I think that it's very, very important to prepare them well, either the boy or the girl. It's not just, hip, hip, hooray. It's not. So I think that's very, very important. They should have classes in yeshivas. Lakewood, huge yeshiva, makes sure that every bacher has adracha before he gets married. It will help dramatically. Now, are there issues? Are there cases? Yes. First of all, a lot of cases are because people are not well psychologically and they didn't tell anybody.
Right. So I had Rabbi Moshe Rapberg on the podcast from Thomas River.
Right.
And something he had said was, there's something that came up in the conversation. I don't know. He said it. I said it. Perhaps there should be a mandatory screening for all boys and girls before they in shidduch and before they get married, to make sure that everyone that we know. Listen, if this person has bipolar disorder, it should be known, and you go work on it beforehand. And not saying you run away.
Moshe Rapberg is a wonderful guy, but it's not happening.
What do you think about the idea?
How hard it was to make Dar Yisharim? Very sure I've saved.
And
so
Dari
much.
Sharm for a lot of people is not enough. Even there's even more and more and more.
I understand, but how hard was the Dari Sharm? We saved all the taste X stories out of Chava.
Why was it hard?
Six
Why was it
kids.
hard? Why was it hard to? Why
Because
was?
people, you're mixing into God's work and this and that. Whatever
But you saw how
Hashem
many.
wants.
It's like how many lives it saved.
People said things that were not Beseder. And the mice, look, today we eradicated, Baruch Hashem, now we Hashem. They said there'll be other diseases coming. It might be true, but I don't see it right now. But the point is, in this thing, you're not going to get parents to go along with a screening, especially if they know the kids have a problem. Maybe the kids have a problem.
But then we're just setting ourselves up for a disaster. How many people get married and then they're home 6 months later?
Interesting idea. I'm just saying, it's an interesting idea. To get it done is not going to be so easy. In our lifetime, and even mine or yours, we should live and be well. Not a push thing to do.
But Bender, maybe you perhaps one could say you're in the position that can.
I can say it needs thought. It needs thought. Maybe also to you, what screening is by you as a problem.
Not even screening.
Not a problem.
Just a check-in. A check-in just to know you're getting married in 6 months.
The
6
bottom
months you're
line
married.
is we have the Hayra on it, Shmuel Kamenetsky and others. On the third or fourth date, you must tell the other side if there's something wrong in your family. I'm dealing now with a very shvera case where one of the two people was namish, not beseder, and they're getting divorced because one of the two suffered dramatically, right? And he found out they lied about it. You're not going to stop. They'll find an answer around the screening also. They will. I'm sorry to say that.
Like the answer can't just be that we just let it be how it is.
And halacha, you're careful with everything. Careful you can't. Your daughter or your son will do a shidduch mitzvah Hashem.
I'm just saying, but we need a new modern day Dari Sharm we're doing with the medicals.
Right, yeah.
But the mental health is also part of medical.
I hear you. It's thought. Not so push it. Nachi, not so push it.
Okay. The right approach to chinuch, someone wrote in, is din or ahava. What would you consider din, ahava?
No question, ahava today.
But the people din.
This is the shaila that I asked by the greatest Aaron Leib was I went to him before Rav Shach pointed and said he's the man. Aaron Leib was a madon chinuch, said only with guttons, only good. There's, in the Litvische world, which most of our kids go to here, Litvische yeshivas, there was two malachim. One was called Slabatka, and one was called Navardik. Navardik was more tough.
Yeah, my grandfather was a Navardiker.
Not today. Slabatka is what works. I spoke to Reb David Kain about it. It's Sruly, Chevron. Only good. And Aaron Leib, Zechariah Levracha, L'chaim, all the Rachel Hirsch. Only the good way. It does not work today. It can't do it. I don't understand how the yeshivas of yesteryear worked. I don't understand it. Kids went away to public schools. They left. They got beat up. I have a cousin who was mugged by a teacher. Mugged. I say mugged because the next day he came home, fourth grader, and he left. He said, I'm going to public school. He married a shiksa. I don't understand it. Today, the only way he's going to go with, he's saying Yiddish with guttons, the good, soft approach. Do you have to stand up to a kid? Of course. If a kid is lying or is mechutzev, you got to take care of it. You got to be tough with him sometimes. That doesn't take away from the overall derech.
What would you say that it would be disastrous for a parent to lay their hands on their kid or to...
No, a mother gives a patch to a kid, that's okay. Up to a certain age, you got to be very careful. The Gemara says you shouldn't hit a 13, 14-year-old kid anymore because he'll might hit you back. So a little kid runs in the street, you want to teach him he shouldn't run in the street, you want to teach him not to touch fire, whatever it is, or a kid opens a mouth to a mother, there's nothing wrong giving a petrol.
What would you say is like the red line for the parent? Like, if you cross this line, you're sending your kids.
I think the aside is not to discipline when you're angry. Wait, I heard a story of Rabbi Yashiv's grandson. He spoke not their heretic to his grandfather, the great Rabbi Yashiv. 3 months later, Rabbi Yashiv asked him, he had a car, the boy, to drive him to a wedding in Bnei Brak. On the way back from the wedding, he said to me, no, we just went to a simcha, I'm in a good mood, I want to tell you something. 3 months ago, he spoke not disrespectfully. If most parents who hit too much would say, count to 20, like to tell us that we get angry, 1, 2, they wouldn't hit the kid. Relax. I don't want a Rebbe coming into yeshiva or a teacher coming into yeshiva who had a fight with their spouse, and that's why I give the patch. It's got to be with hini, muchunim, zumon, the kaim, it's chinuch. Then there are times for a younger kid. There are times. You want to watch your kids? Come on, every father, mother can hit the kids once in a while. My mother did not, by the way. I didn't either. I didn't take care of the kids. You know, my wife took care of the kids, Kanara.
Someone had written, we're getting towards the end, so no worries. I know your time is valuable and you have places to be.
I'm wonderful to be, Nachi. I chased this week. I was going after you. Come on.
It was amazing that you ended up being here tonight. Baruch Hashem. Someone wrote in, hi, how do I know if working in chinuch is for me? And what advice would you give to a new Rebbe starting out? So the first part is how do I know if I should be in chinuch?
If you have that cheshik to work with kids, you go to be chinuch. Some kids are naturals; they know how to work with kids. But the biggest thing today, they have tremendous classes on studying how to become mechanech. Termasar runs them. A lot of organizations run them. Termasar Baker, they have a great HDUS, it's called. They teach you classroom management is a big spiel. A guy could be a great rebbe but can't manage the classroom.
Right.
There are a lot of things you can learn today, and you have to feel it. You have to feel a schlep toward it. If you want to make $1 zillion, chinuch is not for you. It's not. But if you
even $1 million,
no, even $1 million, yeah, this doesn't work. We try very hard to take care of the rebbe. With all that, it's very difficult.
And for a rebbe that the decision has been made, he wants to go into chinuch. What advice would you give for that new rebbe?
I think going to the course is very, very important, and then applying to a lot of yeshivas. It's easier now to get a job because the finances are so bad today. The inflation has so destroyed the typical, regular, normal household that I think it's not as many people are applying to become a rebbe, unfortunately.
Really?
So I think it's not 100%.
I think it was quite a few years ago. I remember Rebbe Bender. I remember you said something. There was a rebbe who had passed away in Yeshiva Darkei Torah, and the resumes were flying in before even the levaya.
Very good, Nachi. Your memory is great. Really is.
Thank you.
Different world. Yeah, remember.
So that was only
on the
8
way
years
to
ago?
levaya. That was about 9 years ago. By the way, the change was the last 3 years. The inflation, people are nervous. They're nervous.
So we're ultimately losing superstars.
100% losing.
How can we encourage more people?
We used to have 20 people applying for a job in 3rd or 4th grade. Older classes still have a lot of people applying. They want to be Rosh Yeshivas, But younger grades, not like before. It's a problem. You have to try to pay better, I think. Yeshivas must pay better. They don't have. Raise the money. I think we're paying much better now, but still not enough.
I will go on record saying I think a rebbe should be a rebbe and a mora. They should be being paid real money. Like,
what's real money?
Oh, now you're putting me in the hot seat.
Absolutely, yes.
It should be comparable to someone who's going to work in corporate America or going to work.
How much money? Numbers.
At least 150, 200. I mean,
no one pays near that. Come on, we pay around $100,000 a year. No one pays that.
At least, how is that rebbe supposed to pay? How are they supposed to provide for their family?
I visit out of town yeshivas to pay even less. You want people to come out of town and teach?
Some people are going to think I'm crazy now because I said that they should be paying rebbeim moras $200,000.
They're working hard. They work overtime in the night. And the moras, they're underpaid. I'm telling you, we pay well.
Imagine what tuition will be then. Parents are going to be paying $70,000 a kid.
No one pays that money.
It's like a double third. It's like there's so many issues here. Rebbeim need to be getting paid more. The kids they're paying way too much more than they have. You have families
out there. Whoever's watching, write the checks. What can I tell you? It's a problem. It's not fair. Our best kids today, our best guys.
Rebbe, do you believe that if Klal Yisrael was giving Meiser 10% or 20%, do you believe? I've heard some people say this, that there would be no poverty, there'd be no issue.
Absolutely no poverty. Rabbis will pay your number, 150, 200. People do not give Meiser. They don't give Meiser. 90% don't give Meiser.
Really?
From the wealthier money, maybe 80%, 70%. If they would all give Meiser, the richer people, the wealthier people. Listen, a lot of people give tremendous money to tzedakah. I have some Balbatim that give a fortune. Don't give Meiser. People who have responsibility for Klal Yisrael should make it happen. Parents, heads of schools, make it happen. Meiser would be the biggest life that would be wonderful.
Really? Am I naive? I thought people give Meiser.
Do you think people will make $10 million a year giving Meiser? You give $1 million? I don't think so.
I don't know. We see a lot of people's
Nachi, forget about it. I said 90%, 60, 70.
They're not giving 10%.
Absolutely not.
I saw there was a move for Chaimish these days.
The guy writes, you have a certain amount of money. All right, Baruch Hashem.
Wow, that's really eye-opening, and I think things would be different maybe. A question here goes as follows. I remember going to Yeshiva Darkei Torah. The building was small. We were in trailers sometimes. Now the building is quite different. It's big. It's beautiful. Is that the aspirations of yeshiva? Should a yeshiva have the aspirations of building?
It's a much better yeshiva for a lot of reasons today, but certainly one of them is because it's a beautiful building. Kids deserve to learn in a nice building. Kids who are crowded in the classroom, they have issues. No question about it. Hallways by us are 12 feet wide. Most hallways are built 8 feet wide. You know how much relaxing the atmosphere because they have 12 feet wide? Good lighting, it's very important.
Do you believe there are too many kids in each class now? How many kids? What's the what is?
We have enough to be 25 in a class, but sometimes because of the social pressures, there'll be 18 in one and 30 in the other one. It shouldn't be like that. But Lamaisa, it should be 20. We never have close to go, not over 200. We have 8 classes per level. And so we go around 195, 200 there, about 205. But when you have too much social pressures, they want to be dafka. The mother wants to be to get another class. That's a problem.
That was also a question, which was, are parents too involved? And what would you say? I mean, I remember seeing a video from Rav Steinman from many years ago where someone came to Rav Steinman with a shayla that they wanted to throw out another kid from the school. Gaiva. Yet,
he's right.
Yet, you're uniquely positioned, as Momo would say, more than anybody to speak to this. Where how many parents are calling in at the beginning of a school year trying to switch? So
that's a problem. If the parents would be calling about their kid, what's best for them, they're not. Most of them are calling what their friends, they perceive their friends, their wives, the mothers, the fathers to be the same classes. We try. Maishi Bender, he's my son, Bliain Hara, 20 years. He tries to call every parent back and tries to accommodate them. He's successful 95% for sure. And even the other 5,
but the question is, should he even be doing that?
Not the end of the world.
Why even try?
I think when you please the parent, they're much more cooperative. They're much more healthy. You try to be nice. Our motto is to be nice to the kids, nice to the parents. It doesn't have to be an adversarial relationship. It doesn't have to be.
How good is it for the kid, though? I remember when I used to run a sports league in town, I wanted to make a rule where the parents are not allowed to come.
I understand you, but I think when you have overall, it's better all around, even in fundraising later, when the parents are happy and Safrina helps us also. And we rely on fundraising very heavily. So where a person has to be put in their place, we do, but in a very nice way.
Rabbi Bender, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Is there a message that you want to say, people who are watching?
Chinuch is great. Join Chinuch. We really want to. Rebbeim and teachers and morals are wonderful today.
And they're going to be making $200,000 a year soon.
They got to take care of them. I tell parents, why can't you give a major check once a year to a parent? You have to give them rather to a teacher or to a mora or to a rebbe. Take care of them. Our kids are spending most of their life in school. If you don't count sleep, right?
Yeah, but they would answer you. They don't have the money.
We are babysitters also. Come, the money. You find a way. Find a way.
If they don't have look what's going on in Jewish groceries. You want to buy something, it's $7 more than it was 2 years ago.
I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about people who are going.
People have. You're saying
people are going to what is it? Cancun. Those places. Come on. Priorities. Let's set priorities. Hatzlacha, nachas, more children. R Yaakov, a good kid, ben Churik, sivach, a good share. Nachi, you from yours. Hatzlacha and bracha.
We will be seeing you again soon. Thank you for listening to this episode of the podcast. I hope we covered the topics that you really wanted us to cover. We tried very, very hard. I read literally directly the questions that were sent in to me. And thank you, Rabbi Bender, for being so vulnerable and taking the plunge and coming and answering these questions. Make sure to comment below. We're going to pick a winner. We discussed in the beginning of this episode. And we hope to see you again next week. Make sure to hit that like button, the subscribe button. Leave a comment, leave a review. Wishing you all the best. Have a great Yontif.